All right, people, here we are again, still sheltering in place, still wearing our ankle bracelets, except some people's jail looks nicer than others. So I got Costa Rica in the background, but she's got the real deal going on with the barbecue setup and the hat.
Mm.
Man, it's not even 10 a.m. and look, it looks like it's 1 p.m. in your area. How you
They
doing?
wear hats, but I'm realizing the benefits of them.
Yeah,
So,
hey, well, it looks good on you, so that's a good thing. I like hats too. I wear people don't know this about me, but I have. It kind of happened in a weird way. I was given some hats and it started this whole collection. I have probably about 40 hats, caps, but I don't wear them often. So people don't know that I have this gigantic collection, but I've gotten them from everything from Mark Porter, who gave me, his Ameriprise one. I got car ones because, I love cars. I got all kinds of hats somehow.
uh,
I by default started collecting them, even though it wasn't on purpose. Well, cool. So here we are, right? We're June 23rd. Wow.
hmm
Half the year gone.
hmm
And hasn't it gone fast, even though we're sheltering in place and we've had this pandemic going on? It's gone faster than I ever would have thought under these conditions.
Yes, I guess. Well, I mean, I think that's a relative question because you're totally busy. And
Yeah.
our friends that are saying, I've already done all the projects I could in the house. I watch all the shows. I'm on my new whatever, and days are going by really slow. So for folks who
So it
aren't,
depends on your life, I guess, right? Your activity levels. Yeah, I'm super, super busy. I guess you're right. That's very contextual and it
yes,
depends on how your
but
life, the speed of your life.
yeah, but it has been moving pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, so this has been a topic that I've been wanting to talk with you about because it comes up often, and in my busyness, sometimes I just don't have the answer, and I wanted to talk with you about this. What's the definition of a good real estate deal, particularly a good buy right now? Because I have folks that are saying, well, I'm waiting for a good deal. So I ask them, so what does that mean? Well, I'm waiting for property values to go down 15 to 20% in the Bay Area. Like I'm thinking, I don't think that'll ever happen, even in this pandemic, even with what's going on. Because if you look at 2008, when we had the last major meltdown, now, of course, that was a different situation. That was a lending and real estate problem as opposed to a health problem that's caused a lot of economic damage, et cetera, et cetera. But even then, in 2008, San Francisco, for example, flatlined. It didn't go down tremendously. So you're the pro. Do you see 15 or 20% drops in prices going to happen?
Well, I mean, every 10 years, there's always some like major shift with real estate.
Yeah.
And we're in that phase. But I mean, I would say it's so hard because the past 3 years, I was like, okay, is this the year? The next year, is this the year? And it
Mm-hmm.
just hasn't been, right? So what I've noticed now is, I've seen a lot, like since inventory is still really low, I do see a lot of activity, especially on the good listings. And they look at the ones that are the best in the market or the best in the neighborhood and it's priced right, you're going to get the most action. What I'm seeing is, some of them will get multiple offers. Like what my clients will say, I want a good deal, of course. So they'll say, this is the price. Maybe I'll give under, or maybe I'll give a little at list, or maybe a little bit over. But
Okay.
they're not trying to pay hugely over the list price. I mean, that's been the experience I have with the clients that have been interested in certain properties. I mean, but that's just, so there will be lots of activity. It could be intimidating because people are like, oh my God, every hour there's showings. But when it comes to the offer time, I would say for homes that are having major activity, probably be between five to seven offers. And a
Okay.
lot of them, a few of those offers will be at list, or maybe it's slightly under list, or maybe slightly above list. But then there are opportunities where, like, I just got my client in contract a couple weeks ago where the property was in the market for 20 days and we asked for like $40,000 discount and we got it. You know, so
Wow.
so
Okay.
$40,000 is a good
But
deal.
was $40,000 15 to 20%? No.
So
That's not really realistic, I think. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong.
it's probably, I mean, if you're lucky, you probably get 8 to 10%.
Okay, see, that to me makes sense. 5 to 10 is what I was saying. I think that makes sense because even though, look, and particularly in the last, I don't know, 4 days, I've been seeing a lot of articles of highlighting that people are leaving San Francisco, they're breaking leases and all these things. Yeah, but that percentage is small compared to the rest of the population that is not leaving, not breaking leases, staying here, even though their companies have allowed them to work remotely. Now, do I think that that's going to increase? Yes, but here's the thing that people don't realize, that there's always been more people coming in than leaving. And the demand for housing is so huge that
Mm-hmm.
since I can remember, it hasn't fulfilled the demand. Is that true or not?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes. I mean, where are they getting this data from anyway? There's a lot of people I know that are
Great
renters that
question.
haven't moved. And there's a lot of people who have put a property on the market and has had several applicants to move there. I mean, everybody's life situation is different. Maybe it's a change of wants. Maybe it's a change of.
So I guess the message here is, okay, so maybe it won't go down 15 to 20%, but still ask, because you never know what you might
Mhm.
get. Because if you don't ask, for sure, you're not going to get. So in the case of your client, you threw a Hail Mary saying, hey, let's just ask, because what's the worst thing that could happen? They say no.
Yep.
But what if you could have, but you didn't ask? That
Yep.
would have been a miss of 40 grand. Hey, look, 40 grand doesn't grow on trees. So I think the real message here is, get an awesome agent like you who knows what to actually ask, because you also don't want to be insulting, but at the same time, you want to be proactive, and you also want to be assertive, right? You want to ask for things, because worst case scenario, they say no, and at least you know where you stand. I think that's super, super important. So don't lose hope. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, look, let's be honest. Whenever there's a situation like this, the human brain says, well, let me use the situation to see what I can get, right? So I think it makes sense that people are asking for discounts or asking for lower prices, because they're using the pandemic to try to get a good deal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? It's like, if you know that Sears is going to close tomorrow, what are you going to do? You're going to go to Sears and go, hey, well, let me see if I can get this shirt cheaper, right? It's just part of the human condition. So I think that's totally okay. So don't give up, but also be realistic. And you don't want to insult the seller either. Like, if a house is
Yeah.
selling, you're not going to go in and say, yeah, you know what, I'll give you like half of what you're asking for. Or, you don't want to do that as well. Just be realistic and consult with professionals like yourself, who know the markets, who know the comps, the comparable sales, so that you can make a very wise, somewhat lucrative, but also do a deal with integrity.
Well, and there's that too. So I mean, so what your agent would do is, if there's a property that's been on the market for, let's say, 20 days. Usually the first 14 days, the first 2 weeks is really that point where people realize, okay, if I don't get an offer within the first 2 weeks, there has to be some change, because either they reduce the price or they stay in the market longer, but then knowing that people are going to work the price because it's been on the market longer than 2 weeks. Because
Good point.
generally people are going to ask, oh, okay, it's been on the market for 2 weeks, you don't have an offer. I'm the only offer you have. Okay, let's work this. And I mean, hey, that's what you do. And if your agent, runs the comps for you, the comparables, and just shows you, okay, this is what the market's going for. And if you're able to work out a good deal of having some savings, whether it's 10, 15, $20,000 or whatever that number is, I mean, you're still getting a good deal. You're still paying less than what other people have. Or you might be able to ask for closing costs. You could say, would you reduce the price and maybe give me some credit towards my closing costs? I mean, there's different
Hmm.
ways as
Totally.
well. Every situation is different.
Absolutely. So I
And
guess step one is consult with your agent to find out what the true definition right now is of a good deal, so that you're realistic about what a good deal is. It might not be 20%, but it might be 8% or 10%, right? So get yourself informed with your agent, because you always want to consult professionals. You can't be an expert at everything. And so consult with those who are experts to define what, for example, is a good deal, and then go ask for it, right? Don't be shy to ask for it,
yeah,
but
got
be
a
realistic.
So I had a recent question from a friend who's also a client, and he said, so let's say for example, he needs to be a scenario. He's at 3.8. He did a loan within the past year,
Hmm.
and at that point, 3.8 is decent rates, right?
Yeah,
Right
absolutely.
now,
A year
rates
ago.
have gone down. And so say he's able to shave off a 20. Let's say he's able to get 2.8. Now, does that, like, is it worth refinancing? Is it worth changing the loan to get the 2.8? And what
Yeah.
does that look like?
Oh, this is a great question. So typically, it makes sense when it's at least a point difference. Now, I take it and put it a little bit in more granular terms. And what I mean by that is there's a simple formula. You use where you're at, right? So you're at 3.8, for example, and you have a principal and interest payment. Because whenever you refinance, your property taxes and your property insurance stay the same. So the things that we're going to compare to see if it's worth it is your principal and interest mortgage payment. So what you do is you take the difference in payment and divide that by the closing costs. And that'll give you the total number of months that it'll take for you to recover the difference in payment based on the cost. You divide it by 12 to give you the number of years. So for example, if we divide 1200 by 100, what does that give us? 12, right? That would tell us that the difference in the $100 payment at a cost of 1200 bucks, you can recover it in what? 12 months, which is 1 year. If you're going to stay in the property for at least 3 years, that makes sense. But if you're going to sell the property in a year, you're barely going to break even. Why would you do that? Makes no sense. Also, the second piece to consider, and this will come up in that formula, is the size of your loan. Typically, the lower the loan amount, the less of a difference it makes a month.
Mm-hmm.
But the higher the loan amount, the bigger the difference it makes in monthly payment.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference in a point in rate between a $300,000 loan and an $800,000 loan is humongous,
Mm-hmm.
even though it's technically both the same 1 point difference in rate. So that's why you have to get together, meaning you, the folks who are watching, get together with someone who really knows their stuff and doesn't just give you some generic answer. It has to be specific to your situation because it's like shoe sizes. Everybody's got a different shoe size, right? Everybody has a different financial situation, different loan amounts, different times that they're going to stay on their property. Some people aren't going to be in their properties long term, so it might not make sense. And others will say, oh, yeah, I'm dying here. This is my final house. I love this house.
Mm-hmm.
So typically, the longer you're going to stay in a property, the more it makes sense to refinance with at least a 0.5% difference in rate.
Got it. So if someone's interested and they're saying, okay, this, they could just give you what, their mortgage statement or
Yeah,
just.
just give me your latest mortgage statement, and I'll just use this as a way of a closing out here. If you want to get a hold of me, just text me is the best way, and that's 415-368-1149. That's my cell phone. Or you can email me, ed at Kuno, and that's Kun as in Nancy, O, advisors with an S at the end, .com. How do people get a hold of you if they want to talk a little bit more about, these deals and how to position an offer?
Sure. Well, just to go off of the last thing you said, so if you're interested in knowing about how to save money, um, provide your loan agent or Ed your mortgage statement, and he'll be able to kind of go over if it makes sense for you. Um, but it really
Absolutely.
takes long to connect
Mortgage
you.
statement will do it. Yes.
Okay, so my information is 415-756-4418. You can call or text. I always return all my texts.
Yeah, you do. You're awesome at it. Well, thank you so much for your insight. That was really, really good because I wanted to put that bad boy to rest. What is a real good deal during these days?
Everybody wants a deal. It's a question
Everybody
I
wants.
get
Well,
all the time.
don't we all? We all want a good deal. Nobody calls us going, "Hey, what's your worst deal you got today?" Nobody
Exactly.
calls with that call. All right, all right, everybody. Take care. Stay healthy and stay safe. Take care.